Hey guys, Scott Canterbury, Quaker State Pro here. I want to talk to you a little bit about Kentucky lake ledge fishing or just ledge fishing in general. One thing that I'm going to be looking forward to doing this week is stroking a jig. Finding a good casting jig, one that you can throw a long ways and still get a hook in a fish out there at 50 yards out and you're 20 foot deep. Still being able to get a hook in a fish and land that fish is a big deal, and that's going to play a big part of Kentucky Lake this week. The plastic that I'll be putting on the back is a net bait Pocket Chunk Senior. It's just a little bit bigger claws than the regular Pocket Chunk that I use most of the time. Gives it a lot of action. It's a Dirty Jigs Tackle. And the jig that I'm using is a new jig that he come out with. It's a Luke Clausen casting jig is what it is. This jig has a real light weed guard on it, and it's got a Gamakatsu Oshansky style hook on it. Okay, the deal with that is if you're out there a long ways, it don't matter if you've got 20-pound line or 10-pound line. You set the hook, you're not actually putting enough pressure on your jig to bend a hook or anything. You don't need a big stiff wire hook like a no-jack hook when you're up flipping grass. That Oshansky bend hook is a really good bend. It's got a long gap here, a long bend. So once you do penetrate, you don't lose many fish with this. And it's got a super sharp point on it. This jig that they designed, Luke helped out design, has a keeper on here too. A little wire keeper for holding your chunk up. So I'll actually thread that Super Chunk Senior on. Thread it up over that keeper right there, and that keeps it on there really tight. Keeps it from pulling down. So I'm going to make long casts. I'm going to be throwing 12 or 15-pound test line. Make long casts with this. When it hits the bottom, I'm going to rip it up 3 or 4 feet off the bottom, let it fall back down. Rip it up 3 or 4 feet. And a lot of those bites, I'd say 80% of the bites you're going to get are going to get when it's actually falling back down. They're going to knock slack in your line sometimes, and you're going to easily be able to reel down and set the hook. But a lot of times, as that bait's falling, you don't have full contact. Or if a fish gets it when it's at its pivot point, at the top of your swing, a fish comes up and grabs it and you wait a second, you go to rip it up again. With this hook here, you're going to penetrate plenty deep in their mouth to land them just by actually you're putting your motion that you're working the bait. You don't have to reel down and try to cross his eyes and jerk hard as you can to set the hook. But that little jig right there, hopefully is going to play a big part on Kentucky Lake this week and get me out of here with a good check.